Hey guys, welcome back. I'm here in Hoskins, Papua New Guinea this morning. It is a beautiful, nice, cool morning. I'm heading across the island to meet up with the helicopter to do some shuttles. I'm not doing the shuttles. Basically, I think I have like maybe 600 or so kgs of cargo that I'm taking over, and then the helicopter, Josh, the pilot, is heading into another location to drop those off. So I'm gonna be on the ground for like an hour and a half waiting for him back and forth, unloading all this stuff by myself out there. So let's go ahead and get loaded now, get all the seats out, get going, because he's gonna be taking off from a location just over the street over there in like 15 minutes. So I need to get out there before he does, so let's get going. I am loaded up. The guys have left already. Basically, I just doubled up all the ropes right here just because I didn't have a lot of room on the sides to get a bunch of ropes along the side as well. So I just doubled these up. Basically, like I've said in other videos, each one of these little mounts down here is only rated for 100 pounds, and they have to be at least 8 inches apart. So I have to kind of like double, triple up my ropes and things like that to be able to hold all of that cargo in case I were to go off the runway, crash, something like that, so it doesn't flip up and go up the top. So we are, it's humid, that's why I'm sweating. We are now just about ready to go. I just need to pick up a couple things here. Weight and balance is already good. So I'll show you the weather as I'm going out of here. It's looking okay out there. Yesterday it was calling for low clouds, probably like a full-on layer at like 5,000 or below that I was gonna have to go through. That's why I brought my life vest, because this is right on the ocean, and if I have to descend, then I'm gonna be descending over top of the ocean, and I want to be able to go down to my lowest altitude and then turn around underneath the clouds and get back to the airport. So let's see how this works. It's P&G, and it can always change. All right, finally ready to go. I'm now running behind schedule, which is unfortunate for Josh. Let's do our weight and balance and then get out of here. So I've got 703 kgs all on board. I've got 130 in my front pod, 120 in my second pod. I've got 50 on my hat rack in the back. So let's add that up. That's 300. So I've got 403 kgs right here. And we're going to split it up between two different spots. So I said 403, so let's go 203 for the first section and then 200 for the second section. And you can see, there I am on weight and balance. I don't have any seats on board right now. I've got 830 kgs, or correction, 830 pounds of fuel. So let's go put 830 in. Let's change our empty weight of the plane because we took all the seats out. So I am 4275, so we're going to go 4280. 210 with all me, my camera bags, my flight bag, everything like that. And our cargo is 1550. It says we are 6870, and it says 6865, so we're within 10. So let's go up to 6,900 pounds. So 62 rotate and 73 for landing. All the way up to 8,000 today. Over 24 degrees, or 24 degrees. We are over 24 volts for startup. Sure, my igniters are working. Aux plus on. Low start. All right, oil pressure's coming in. Fuel flow is coming up. NG's starting to rise. Once it's, look at ITT for a second. ITT went up quicker than normal, but it only peaks out at 657. Alright, get our generator on, prop forward. It is a 32-minute flight out there, I believe. And if the weather permits, I'm going to fly down this valley that I swear, if dinosaurs were still on this earth, they would be in this valley. It is very stunning. It's the biggest valley I've seen here in Papua New Guinea, and it's just amazing looking. So you got to stand by to see that. Let's get our flight plan in here. I think we have some saved ones from Hoskins out to Jacquinot Bay. All right, well, let's go ahead and put it in. All right, our fuel caps and our selectors are good. Our controls are good. Our systems are set up. We did our system checks already. Our TAWs will be enabled. Our switches and instruments. Everything is set up how we want it. Let's go ahead and put our weather radar on standby. That way the gimbals are warming up so it's not just flopping in there. Takeoff. Flaps already set, indicated and verified at 20. Our trims are set up. Let's go ahead and call it Moresby. Moresby 8861, November Tango Zulu taxi.
November Tango Zulu standby.
All stations Hoskins 127.1, Kodiak November Tango Zulu. We'll be taxiing for departure runway 12 with an eastbound departure. Will be on climb 8000. Any traffic Hoskins advised. It has been insanely windy here. I mean, we're middle of September going into end of September right now. We should be well past the windy season here in Hoskins, but...
November Tango Kilo, once we go ahead.
Morning, November Tango Zulu. Taxi Hoskins, Jacquinot Bay, 1 POB.
Confirm call sign, November Tango Zulu.
Affirm, November Tango Zulu.
November Tango Zulu, Roger. Sorry for the traffic.
Yeah, sorry, November Tango Zulu in lieu of November Tango Kilo. I'm sorry, I forgot I changed my plane absolute last second yesterday.
November Tango Zulu.
I totally forgot. We had to change my airplane. We had everything loaded, ready to start, and had issues, and had to change the airplane last minute. And I forgot to change my flight plan because I had just changed it because we had just changed it to the Kilo. So, yeah, fun stuff. November Tango Zulu 127.1 will be rolling runway 12 Hoskins, southbound, eastbound. Ignition inlet and lights are done. Harnesses are done. We've done our takeoff clearance. I'll just need to do a governor check here right before takeoff. We'll do high idle. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. It's 30 degrees, so 1540 for 1590. The governor. We'll just bring our prop on up. It should be 2070 plus or minus 50. There's a rise. So 1540, rotate 62. There we go, torque is set. Airspeed's alive. There's 50 and continuing. There's 62 and rotate. So I just pulled it back just a tiny bit. And then I just hold it there. I've got a couple birds, actually lots of little birds. Jump up on over them. There we go. Basically on my rotate, I just pull it back just a little bit and hold it there. I'm not pulling the airplane off the ground. I just let it fly off. Alright, now I'm feeling like we're getting into a little bit of the wind up here. I had 32 knots coming through these mountains over here yesterday. Ooh, buddy. That wind gets strong and the turbulence gets pretty severe out here for these little airplanes. Alright, we're over 100 knots. Let's go 0 degrees of flaps. Well, Josh in the helicopter's already left almost just about an hour ago. So he's going to be getting out there in like 15 minutes, unfortunately. But that just means that he can help me unload my plane. And then I can help him load his helicopter. He's got 2 shuttles, and I'll be sharing some of that on-the-ground content with you guys today as well. All right, pulling my prop back ever so slowly when I'm at sea level. As you can see, my torque is rising as I'm pulling it back down to 2,000 RPM. And if I were just to pull it back really fast, that torque is going to spike. I don't think it'd go into the red, but it'd definitely go into the yellow for sure, because I'm just about at my top of my green right there. Yeah, look at that. I've already got 26 knots up here, 27 knots actually coming from right down through here. And I'll show you in just a minute why that is. Yeah, here comes all the bumps, fun stuff. All right, autopilot off. It just doesn't want to do it. Let's bring our ITT down to 720 for the climb though. And landing light, bypass, and igniters turned off. Well, once I get up and out of this windy channel right here, it's only specifically right here. So you can already see it's already 18 knots now, and I bet you in another probably 5 minutes down the way, it's probably gonna drop to like 8 knots. Mars V8861, November Tango Zulu departure.
November Tango Zulu, go ahead.
November Tango Zulu departed Hoskins on the hour, tracking 094 on climb below 8,000, estimating Jacquinot Bay time 32.
November Tango Zulu, not above 8,000, no reported traffic area QNH 1013, and request.
1013, go ahead with request, November Tango Zulu.
November Tango Zulu, we're unable to reach November Tango Mike on HF. Just confirm his destination for his first leg was Cora.
I believe it is Cora. I'll see if I can get a hold of him though. November Tango Zulu.
November Tango Zulu, thank you.
Alright, well, hey Josh, up on company? Alright, look in here. We've got 8 knots now coming from this direction, just like I thought. It just dies down crazy slow. Okay, let's get my autopilot on so I can text Josh to find out where he is, if he's actually on the ground. Are you on the ground, Cora? Our watch is asking. We'll leave this open until it finishes that text. Looking ahead, it looks like the clouds are higher up than I'm going to be. I'm already close to 5,000 feet now. We've got mountains right around 6,000 feet. It looks like there's clouds that are just touching the ridges of those and maybe a little bit higher. Then above that it's a high overcast. So I'm thinking that 8,000 is going to work perfect, but I don't know if the valley is going to work that I want to show you guys, because it's absolutely just stellar up there. I should get back on track now that actually use my autopilot and it's not too windy. Let me show you, now that I've been waiting for Josh to text me back, what the weather's doing today, what I'm expecting out there. The thing you guys just heard was Josh. He says, yes, now going to Jacquinot Bay. Mars V8861, November Tango Zulu.
November Tango Zulu, go ahead.
November Tango Zulu for November Tango Mike, landed Cora, cancel SAR, and is now taxiing Cora for Jacquinot Bay. Negative details.
November Tango Zulu, Roger, thanks for November Tango Mike, Cora Sawage terminated. And request advice November Tango Mike to check call HF 11393.
11393 check call for November Tango Mike, November Tango Zulu.
November Tango Zulu.
Alright, well, let's let him know that. I've never had to call that one unless I'm going down to Moresby, or I mean down to Brisbane. Or, I mean, sorry, Cairns. Okay, let's take a look here at the weather. Alright, you guys can see here that there's 2 areas that the wind looks like it's just channeling through here. And
That one right by Ken Bay, that is where Hoskins is. So there's actually some really narrow area with the ground, and it basically acts like a venturi where it just speeds the air up right through that channel, and then it starts spreading out once it gets to this side of the island, because it's only like 40 miles wide right here. So it really gets from 8 knots to 40 knots sometimes, and then back to 8 knots. Same thing with over by Moke, where I tried yesterday to get in, and it was just whipping directly over Moke in the wrong direction. All right, looking at this one, it's not giving me a lot of information. This is our cloud bases. It doesn't really show me barely anything. So let's go over here to low clouds. This is showing that it's maybe scattered there, which is better than what it was saying yesterday. It said it was full on overcast. That's why I brought my life vest in case I have to descend. Looking at the rain and thunder, it's looking really clear. So I think it's going to be okay. It was showing a lot worse. This is the satellite picture right here whenever it loads. And it too is not really showing that bad of clouds over there, so it's looking really actually hopeful. And Josh replied, thanks, I'll let him know.
Alpha November.
Alright, 500 foot to go.
Amended 18000, estimate Bina 2235.
But now that we are up here nearly 8,000, looking out that way, it's showing a lot more clouds than kind of what now they were forecasting for this morning. It's looking more like what was forecasted last night. So we'll see as we get closer.
124-1886, Alpha November.
Well, let me go ahead and bring up this map here so you guys can kind of see what I'm seeing here. Alright, leveling off at 8,000 feet. Let's let this thing catch up to where we are. Okay, now we go. Now that our speeds are up to 130, let's go ahead and start bringing our torque on back to 1250. So I just bring it back to 1270. And then let it sit, and it kind of works its way down to 1250 as I'm getting my trim set up. Taking some of that right rudder pressure out that we had in the climb. And there we go. Alright, torque is down to 1230. So here is Jacquinot Bay right there. We are just doing just a straight beeline here. But if for some reason the clouds are not giving me any holes to be able to get down, my plan is to head out closer out to the bay out here and then start descending down over the water right along the coast. That way I can get all the way down to like 1,000 foot over the water. So here at PNG, the requirements are a little bit different for IFR stuff. Basically, if the terrain is 5,000 foot below, you have to have 1,000 foot. Between 5,000 and 10,000, you have to have 1,500 feet, and over 10,000, you have to have 2,000 feet. So the easiest and safest way that I can do this is to get out over top of the water. I've got my flotation device stuff. We're still probably going to be within gliding distance because I'm going to remain close, but I'm just going to basically track down the coast descending because there are no mountains right in there. It's going to take a few miles inland before it even starts going up to not even 3,000 feet. So that's my plan of action.
All stations, Jacquinot Bay, helicopter November Tango, Mike joining the search Jacquinot Bay.
It built up a little bit out there. I'm thinking that they might open up. Usually they open up over the water. It's usually just the land that they kind of pack into because they get stuck on all the mountains. Looks like we've got a bunch of like kind of, I don't know. This looks like kind of like a hazy smoke kind of sit down in here. November Tango Zulu, go ahead.
November Tango Zulu, just advising, we were able to reach November Tango Mike on HS6622. Cancel Jacquinot Bay at time 13. Thank you.
Thank you, I'll let him know.
November Tango Zulu.
Josh, you have my company? Alright, he's not hearing me, so I'm going to have to actually text him and let him know. This is the struggles of flying in Papua New Guinea. AYJB SAR canceled.
Copy the time and 10.
There we go. This is a lot busier of a flight than I was kind of anticipating in my head. If I look like I'm a little bit jumbled in my mind today. Things just did not quite start off as planned. Well, let's take a look here. So you can see here, all this darker brown is mountains. So the sooner I get out here to the green, probably in this bay area. So basically if I get out here to the end of this and there's no holes to get down, then I'm actually going to start diverting off a little bit so I can start tracking down this coastline right here to start my descent. I'm actually going to stay up at my 8,000 rather than sucking down to the tops of the clouds. And if you're wondering why, it's because at 1,500 feet, even higher up, now I have a lot better view out here to start seeing potential holes on maybe where I can start going down. Looking out this way, it's not looking very promising. Looking out this way, I don't see any mountaintop ridges. That's the things that I'm going to look at first. And then I'm really going to start looking for potential like discolorations in the clouds, indicating like that there might be a hole right there. It looks like there's this big dark band over there. That's what I would be looking for, is maybe like there might be a hole that kind of comes down through there, or there's maybe a higher layer back and it goes down, giving some different colorations. Okay, so he's just acknowledging that I got his SAR watch was canceled, so hopefully he can see my next text saying, what's the weather like? If you guys would like to recreate some of these flights on Flight Sim, on my Patreon page I have a lot of these flights. In fact, this one right here, as well as going down that valley. And if you actually don't know how to fly and you want to get into flight simulator stuff, I actually have a course that walks you through a few hours on how to fly, for one, if you have no experience whatsoever, but also how to fly the Kodiak specific. So if you want to learn how to fly a turbine engine, this is perfect. If you don't have any experience on G1000s, don't know where to look, it goes over all that. If you actually want a little bit of extra stuff, like how to fly an approach in the G1000, it also covers that. So really kind of covers all your bases. All right, high overcast with some blue breaks. Okay. That's encouraging. I'm wondering if this is a hole right here. It looks like that might be the coastline. I'm gonna point and go, because that does look like a hole that I can get down through. And just the shape of that darkness, it looks like there potentially is some maybe scattered clouds over the ground, but it's looking like that's gonna work. So TAW is off for this. Fuel selectors are good. We're 6,700 pounds, so 72 knots. Let's do our landing light, our bypass. Yes, actually no, this is really funny. The shape of that cloud was not the Bay Area, but now I'm starting to see the actual land. So if I'm seeing dark down there, that's the land. At first I thought that was maybe like a ridge or something like that, but that's actually the coastline, so perfect. Let's get a lot of left rudder pressure in here. Gotta pull my torque just a bit back, just so my airspeed doesn't get too high. The max airspeed in this plane is 182 knots, and I really like to keep it really at 170 max.
Must be 1271 Alpha.
This gives me a little bit of buffer zone there in case I'm not paying attention or something like that. I don't want to overspeed the airplane. All stations, Jacquinot Bay 127.1, Kodiak November Tango Zulu 15 miles to the west, 5,700 on descent, circuit time Jacquinot Bay 26. All right, there's our 170 knots roughly, about 1,500 feet on the descent. We are going to be landing probably to the south today. I'm not sure what the runway direction is, so let's go arrival here. It has 0 information on which way it is. Oh, here we go, now it came up. Runway 3, 4, and 16. So we're going to do landing runway 160. Basically we'll fly overhead, joining into a left downwind, and then land to the south, because I'm assuming that the wind's going to be kind of coming out that direction. Alright, now we are well clear underneath all the layers. 10 miles to go. Like I said, when I get on the ground, I'm going to put some cameras on the helicopter and show you a little bit more what goes on the ground once we're out here, because I'm going to be sitting out here for probably like an hour and a half while Josh does 2 shuttle runs. I brought fuel jugs underneath that we can fill up the helicopter for these few shuttles, and then he's got more fuel out there where he's going to end up later this afternoon. All stations, Jacquinot Bay, 127.1, Kodiak November Tango Zulu, 5 miles to the west, 2,200, joining in overhead for left downwind, runway 16, Jacquinot Bay. Oh, actually, that's weird. The winds have just completely swapped. They were coming this direction, then they were coming this direction, and now they're going 9 knots from behind me. So, actually, let's just land on runway 34. All stations, Jacquinot Bay. Correction, over Tango Zulu, be joining into a left down runway 34, Jacquinot Bay. That's really odd. Looks like I'll have a crosswind. Actually, now that I'm going, let's just see how this plays out, because it's going basically directly behind me, but as I'm coming, it looks like it's starting to shift right back around. It must be just hitting these hills behind me and just starting to swirl right here, so it doesn't really know what to do. Oh, that's so wild. All right, well, I'm going 160 knots entering my downwind. Let's pull our torque on back all the way down to 400. Top end harness is done. Where's the 8861 November Tango Zulu in the circuit, Jacquinot Bay, cancel SAR.
November Tango Zulu, Jacquinot Bay, south terminating.
November Tango Zulu. All right, 10 degrees of flaps. There's 1200 for pattern altitude. This is just about our touchdown area right here. Yeah, looks like we'll have now a tailwind for landing, but that's all right. This thing is so long. Let's go 20 degrees of flaps. It'll line me up better for where I want to go for parking. We wanted 72, so we want 92 on our downwind here. Let's go ahead and turn our base now. Let's just go full flaps now. This is complete. I think final around 700 feet, a little bit high right now, but that is okay. We've got 5 knots crosswind. Looking at all the smoke down there, it doesn't look like it's really doing much at all. So probably even drop even lower. All right, we'll touch down probably a little bit ways into the runway just because it's so long and the winds are just dropping pretty good. So there's turning final 700. Station Jacquinot Bay, 1271 November Tango Zulu, final 34 Jacquinot Bay. But now we've got 10 knot crosswind, okay. Runway looks nice and clear. No kids, dogs.
500.
Oh, it's not, we're at 200. 2 knot tailwind, 8 knot crosswind. Just float forever and ever and ever. Oh, low idle. Not even gonna go into reverse here. Let's position the plane so we can just take it out of this side and drop it into his airplane or his helicopter. Think some space for him to be able to take off though. All right, let's get this thing unloaded and him out of here so he can finish his long day.
Obviously, you want to make sure that doesn't fly away when I take off. Yeah.
All stations, Jacquinot Bay, helicopter November Tango Mike, departing Jacquinot.
Round 1, done. Now my job, he's gonna be back in 40 minutes. 20 minutes up, 20 minutes back. I guess he has to fuel up too. So, probably an hour. I've got this stuff to unload right here. I've got about 130 in here. I've got about 120 in fuel jugs, and then just a couple extra boxes here. What's left up here on the hat rack, satellite dish here, and then a few boxes. So reality is I don't really have that much. Let's clean up around here, get these boxes pulled out, and get ready for the next flight. I've counted up what boxes I do have here. It's around 294 kgs is just a rough, quick guess as I'm going counting the boxes. He said he could do 360 kgs, so he's still good on that. Biggest thing now is just space. The R66 just does not have much space. That's no shocker, but I'm gonna go ahead and move all this stuff over here, get his Jet A underneath there. I think like 6 jugs of it for him to be able to fill up for his next flight. I'm in approximately 360 kgs and about. So yes, thank you for helping me. Thanks to Veronica's help. She helped me carry the remaining of the cargo over. I think she felt bad for me. And now I'm just gonna take these drums over here, prepare that last bit over here, his seats and the satellite dish over here. We're gonna wait till he lands just so it doesn't get caught in the wind and damage something or throw it anywhere. Thankfully, there's a nice, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 knot breeze this morning, keeping it nice and cool. It's still humid. My body's not used to humidity like this up in the Highlands, but it's still nice. I'm not gonna complain. I hear Josh, he's on his way. He'll be here in about 1 minute. And we've got all this to load up and all that to fuel up, and then I'm out of here. All right, there Josh goes. Let's go do a time lapse.